Hey everybody, this is Jo. I'm here in Houston. I'm in zone 9B and it is the end of October and I'm going to give you a look at my backyard and talk about a couple of things that I have done. Some of the prettiest things going on over here today. This blue plumbago, that is a Cape plumbago, and it blooms. It's very, it's a tropical plant and it blooms like crazy all year here in Houston, and it dies to the ground. It doesn't seem to matter how cold it gets. It dies to the ground in the winter and comes back like this. This is probably 10 or 15 years old, so it's a very hardy plant here. And then I've got these chives. I think this is garlic chives, and I think they look really pretty. And they've still got their little Verbena bonariensis friends hanging around. There's a fresher flower there for you. And you might see, if you watched my last video recently, I have pulled out a lot of stuff. Tough Love Gardening has ruled the day in the last week or two. And so I have taken out tons of Salvia coccinea, which I have in several different colors, kind of a lot of them that have hybridized in the yard. And they just got so big, and some of these over here just weren't blooming. And so I invited them into the compost pile. This, I am loving this amazing Duranta, and it's got little berries, and I've never had berries. I haven't had this plant very long, so I'm excited about these little berries coming up. That should be, I think they're going to be sort of golden, and I think they'll last through the winter, and hopefully we'll feed some birds. I'll have to look that up. The gomphrena is still looking so pretty and fresh and sweet. And I've got lots of fennel coming up. Let me step into here. I threw out fennel seeds about a week ago, and they've popped up. And look at this huge pod. This is a pod I need to cover with a little organza bag. That is aquatic milkweed. And I have gotten so many amazing seeds. Look, and here's Buttercup, looking so handsome. Are you so handsome? And there's Miss Doubtfire over there. They're my little helpers today. So here is more. I have this whole swath of aquatic milkweed, and you can see that I've got the pods inside organza bags to catch the seeds when they pop open. This is literally just today what popped open, and I got out of these bags just today. And so I'm super excited. And there's some white ones in here that I don't think were very ripe. I think they were dealt with by I didn't water them enough. And so I might do a little test to see, will this sort of peaked looking seed germinate when really a really ripe seed looks like these brown ones. Anyway, so that is fun and exciting. And then another thing I'm doing, well, you can see how much I've pulled out. So many weeds and so much of that salvia. And I left some in here, this Salvia coccinea, chopped it back. This is a white one that I thought was really fun. The pink ones are a dime a dozen out here. And I don't have but 2 white ones that, just came up. I did not plant white ones on purpose. They just came up in the garden, and so I left that one because I like the white ones. And this thing, again, the Mexican hat, so beautiful. And once I got all of that out of there that was shading it, I got this nice new growth, and I'm hoping this will really be a pretty mound for the rest of the year. And then the other thing I'm doing, I'm trying to get back on my schedule of Feeding Friday, which is fertilizing, particularly my pots, on Fridays. But one of the things I am fertilizing in the ground is a couple of roses. This one in particular. This is Nearly Wild. It is an amazing rose. It got very sort of overrun by some of that salvia. And so I gave it a little tiny, it's so hot, you guys. In Houston, it is too hot. It is too dry. I think my garden has gone 55 days without a drop of rain, and 2 weeks ago it was 98 degrees for like 3 days in a row, and it's still low 90s right now. And so this rose bush has just gotten crowded. It has not gotten enough rain, and it was starting to look kind of pitiful. So I gave it a very light prune, very carefully. And I am fertilizing it. I'm watering it a little extra, and I'm fertilizing it with this. This is really sort of a, a plant food for tomatoes when you're trying to get really big, lush foliage. Not particularly flowers yet, but getting the foliage going. And you can see the numbers there. It tells you what kind of fertilizer you're getting. And so I've been using this on this rose and a couple of other things I'll show you in a minute to try to get some growth. I just want leaves going, just to jumpstart it. And so you can see I pruned it about a week ago and fertilized it for the first time about a week ago. And you can see there's a lot of little really nice bright green growth on here. I'm not really interested in flowers at this moment. I'm trying to bring this back as a pretty bush. And the way that I trimmed it, that I pruned it, if it was 80 degrees instead of 95 degrees and it had rained off and on all month, I probably would have pruned it a little harder. Actually would have pruned it earlier and harder. So I just did a very gentle prune. But what I'm trying to do, one of the things that I've learned about pruning roses is that you want to think about it as a vase shape, right? A V. Now this one is a little bit crazy. This is just the prettiest branch, and so I'm leaving it, but it's kind of goofy out here. But you want to prune off things that are pointing into the bush, and you want to leave things that are pointing out. Now you can't do that really severely without taking a whole lot of the rose bush away, but you can see that I'm trying to get them all these things facing out, but I've pruned off things like I should prune that off, because although that's really kind of going out, but pruning things that are going into, and it's about air circulation, because you can get black spot, and this is the worst black spot I've seen on this rose. It generally has not been a problem with this rose. And look, there's some new growth and some new buds there, but I'm trying to get air circulation in here to keep black spot off of it, to let the leaves dry out after it rains or after it's watered. But I'm adding this fertilizer to try to jumpstart this and make this rose look a little better, because it'll bloom. Literally, it's Houston. It will bloom all year, but right now it looks kind of pitiful. And then I've got my little succulent theater going, and you can see my gravel looks better than my last video. I walked right past it. I was going to show you my weed burner. And I took it for a spin a couple of weeks ago, maybe. Here it is. It just has a little butane tank and lights like a little, blowtorch, basically. This one is a Flame King. I don't think they were very expensive. There are a million different kinds, with the end of it a little bit different shapes and stuff. I liked this one. I don't think it really makes a big difference. But you can see, in comparison, if you just peek back at last week's or 2 weeks ago video, this was a mess. But as soon as I hit something with the burner, I'll do like this much, and then I get the hose out and wet it all down. You don't want, especially in a drought, you don't want to spare spark anywhere. But also, the back of my house, these are wood shakes, and I do not need my house to go up like a Roman candle. So, but what that did was it watered more seeds. And so now I need to circle back through and hit the new things that have sprouted since then. And then here, if it's too close to a nice plant, I don't hit it with the weed burner. I just need to hand pull those leaves. but it sure made a difference on this walkway. And boy, if you hit that nut grass, that nut sedge with the weed burner, it will not come back. It's awesome. And so I was able to get rid of that. And I found the same thing true for purslane, which somebody asked me about. It seems to be fine. I will hold that weed burner, for maybe the count of 5 or 10 on the top of a little chunk of purslane, and it will, even though it's kind of a more succulent leaf and a more succulent stem, it seems to just melt it right down, and so it does fine with those. And this is, I've watered a little bit out here in the last week. This is Souvenir de Saint Anne, and this has produced its look. It kind of been a while since it was raining a couple months ago, so I think that's a really sweet rose. And then again, you can see how I have pulled out all of this sweet potato vine. I have let it kind of run rampant here, but I have pulled it away. This is a Texas rock rose, and you can see how it's hanging out. It wants the sun over this direction, but also it was getting crowded by this. And so I'm hoping that pulling this back, even though the ground will not be shaded, so this is like a living mulch, the ground will not be shaded by it anymore. But I think it will really help this rose, which looks terrible and is very unhappy, and this rock rose. Get some things going, get some new growth on that side. And then another place I weeded like crazy was back in here. And there's Mrs. Hello, Miss D. And it's pitiful. If it wasn't 1,000,000 degrees, I would leave this wonderful gomphrena, but all of this Mystic Spires salvia, I would have cut down within maybe 8 or 10 inches high and let it flush out again. But it is so hot, you guys, and it is so dry that I'm just leaving it. It's all laying down. It looks pitiful, but I try not to shock plants when it's this kind of weather. I don't want to shock it and then it ends up dying on me. And then of course here you can see these little speckles. Let me see if I can get back in there now that I've weeded. Get back in there a little bit and show you. This is just a little weed that came up. It's an aster. I'm hoping it's a native one. I think it looks adorable and sweet. Look at those sweet little flowers. Isn't that awesome? And this is probably, I don't know, almost 5 feet tall. Probably is 5 feet tall in some places. And it just came up. I just let it. I think it looks just charming out here. It makes me really happy. And then here is a reason that you throw out seeds all year long, is because sometimes you get a little gem. This is a cleome, and there's another one there. Every time a cleome would bloom, I'd get the seeds and I'd just fling them out here. So this will probably, we have a late freeze, this will probably bloom before any freezes. It's just an annual and it'll freeze and die. But I have had one that came up like this, and before a freeze, it came up in the fall, and I piled leaves around it, and it put a frost cloth over it or a bucket or something over it. And then early spring, it's 6 feet tall, and all the other ones are, 6 inches tall. And so that was kind of a fun little trick. That was just, by chance. So, falling over here. Oh, here's 290 pink buttons, which I gave a little haircut here. And then this, just coming back, I didn't really even, I think I just sort of watered this. Guys, the weather has been horrible. This is Souvenir de la Malmaison, which looks like it's probably got thrip damage, but I'm happy to see it blooming a little bit. Here's another cleome just from the gravel. And I love this purple hyacinth bean vine. Look at the beautiful color on that. And bees like it, and I've even seen hummingbirds on this. And the bean pods, I mean, look how fabulous. I love a good bean pod, and purple is just wonderful. Hi, sweet pea. Are you meowing at me? The grasses just look so lovely. No chasing. See, I'll have to break it up. We're not chasing our sister, please. No, he's gonna do it anyway. She will beat you. She wins. This is my life now. Naughty kittens. She wins every time. He chases her and she wins. So in here I've got beautiful grasses. I wait all year. I love the form of the grass itself, the mound. And then this is just, this is just gravy. Look how it blows in the wind. It's so beautiful. This is a miscanthus. This is not a native grass. And this is the kind that, boy, you can tell when you're buying it. If I went like that and held on tight, it would cut my hand. This is just razor sharp. And so that's kind of how you know you're getting this particular kind if you're looking for it. And then, of course, playing with it is this wonderful Salvia leucantha, which is Mexican bush sage. And I've just let it kind of flop over this year. It's been a bit of a mess. But, it's been a weird year with rain all summer and then a drought in the fall. And then this is Salvia madrensis. I have never grown this. This is one of the few yellow salvias. Blooms in the fall. It likes a little shade. And oh my goodness, you guys, isn't it amazing? This is the first time I've had it bloom for me. I just bought it, I guess, last year. If you watch a YouTube channel called Butterflies and Birds in the Backyard, Crystal, that is her channel, and she is adorable, and she put me onto this because she grows it, and hers is just stunning. So if you want to see it, what it's really supposed to look like, as opposed to it fell down and I left it, go look at her channel. Hers is just stunning. Her whole garden is stunning. So I highly recommend that. And hello, Crystal, if you're watching. Hello. Oh, and I'm noticing as I go through, here's another cleome. There's one. So if I can get a bunch of rain and a late frost, I can have cleomes blooming into the fall and the winter. Of course, my giant penta, always a star. And one of the things I'm making really sure of is keeping fresh water in the bird bath, because there's no rain, and so we've got to have some water out for the wildlife. I'm loving this, my birthday flower pot, and it's amazing begonia inside. Here's the other place I'm using that particular fertilizer that is geared towards foliage growth and not necessarily flowers. So this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I have found that I love the speckly leaved begonias, the angel wing begonias, but also they don't really like me. And so I buy them and then they look pitiful. So I'm pretty happy with this. But I've done for 2 weeks now, fertilized it, and I've turned this. I'm also trying to do Turning Tuesday, which means I'm turning my flower pots, like a quarter turn every Tuesday, so I can get not always have a pretty side and a bare side that always gets the shade. I'm trying to turn it. So I've been turning this and also fertilizing, and I've gotten some new growth on there, and I can see just a little bit on that little sort of red bit there, and some new here as well. And so I'm trying to be mindful of bringing some pots back that have kind of been through the wars of the summer and this terrible drought fall. And this one, again, I've been, it's blooming, but it's really got a whole ton of new growth, and that's what I'm looking for right now. Same thing here, looking for foliage. And then I have a lot of ivy geraniums that are kind of pitiful. I have found them hard to keep alive through the summer, but if you can do it, they'll be beautiful for you again, and will make it through the winter kind of in your garage. But right now, I'm trying to get more foliage. You can see, I'm sure this was beautiful and fabulous 6 months ago. And so I'm trying to bring back some new growth with that fertilizer. Here's the same thing again, trying to get this to pop back out. And then this little guy, that's another ivy geranium. You can see my sad, right, hurricane barrel memorial dirt patch. But I have made myself feel better with some beautiful flowers, you know, just from the nursery lately. And this is one of my new favorite things. This has been the toughest little salvia. So this is like, kind of like salvia coral nymph. It's not so coral as pink, but it's small. This is as big as it gets, and it will seed. And so I've pulled some things up from here and put them in different flower beds, and I'm loving it. I did not expect it to do this well or last this long. I don't know the name of it. And here is a little variety that I thought was hot pink, and it looks really red, but sometimes it looks hot pink when I squint at it. But I think that fertilizing this has helped. Like, I haven't seen any flowers out here, and so this clearly, this Society garlic was happy to see a little bit of fertilizer, no matter what kind it was. Hello, baby. Are you telling me all about it? I know, that rotten boy. You tell me about it. Getting lots of fresh growth here again. This is my goal, is to get these really coming back nicely, foliage. And I'm getting some bonus flowers. And then this is the most fun. This is the chili pekin. There's a lot of different little names. Chili pekin. Native Texas. Got this cute little flowers. But it's also called bird pepper, because the birds love these little peppers. Someone wrote in one of my comments, I'm sorry, I don't have in front of me who it was, that they pick these and put them in the oven at 200 degrees to dry them out, and then they crush them up, and that's red pepper flakes, and so that they use in their kitchen. So I think that's really fun too. Oh, you're very fussy, you're very demanding. And then I'm going to end back here. Look at these wonderful 4 o'clocks. I love how so many things are kind of calling it for the day, and I can come back here and just see oceans of 4 o'clocks. I know, hello. You're very demanding. And that just makes me happy to see all that pink. Oh, one of the other things I'm putting that fertilizer on, which I don't think I've ever done fertilizer on this olive tree. And look at that. It's 2 weeks of fertilizing it, and I've already got a little bit of growth on here, and that makes me just so happy. It really has fallen over. The hurricane did not help it, and so it looks terrible in here, and so I'm very happy to see some new growth. Thank you so much for walking around with me, listening to me ramble on. Excuse me. And thank you for all of your wonderful comments. And I learned so much from you guys, and I love getting to know you online. And I really appreciate you coming and looking. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.